Fears. Okay, hey guys. The last time you saw me, it was 6 years ago. It was 2020, mid-COVID. I was 20 years old. Fun thing. I always get to be the exact same age of the year that we're in, minus the very last 2 weeks at the end of the year, less than the last 2 weeks. But hey, it's Katie. It's Katie who goes by Kiki, who you probably see this pop up and you're like, Keekster who? Keekster woo, bitch. Katie Woo Gigi, hi. I need to watch this before I continue. I just watched that clip back. It was giving lethal. Right now, I'm recording on the back of my iPhone, and my iPhone is screen mirroring onto my TV so I can see am I in the right angle? Am I giving you a big whopping shot of my double chin? Or can you actually look me in my eyes? I watched that last clip. It's giving rich, it's giving classy, it's giving grown woman. Anyways, hey, I'm back. And if you don't know me, hi. The government name is Katie Woo Hajiji, but a couple years ago started going by Kiki, which evolved into Keeks, which evolved into Keekster. And my little TikTok handle is Keekster Woo, and I go by Kiki there. So just changing up my internet persona. A lot has happened since I've seen you in 6 years. A lot, even more has happened since I joined YouTube. I joined YouTube June or July 2014. That would have been the summer before going into high school. And I thought I was the shit, but also very much was the shit, and totally let shame derail me out of owning my own shit, and just didn't have the support and the resources to stand in my power and be authentically me. I don't even think I was authentically me. I mean, hello, what teenager on the internet when social media was first arising really was able to tap into their authentic selves? I mean, there are a couple. Hello. They became influencers. And I totally wish I would have. I wish I just could have strutted my way through the shame and kept sharing my life with you, kept being me and absolving all parts of myself. But I was scared. I was scared of the world. I was scared of being perceived. I was scared of myself. I was scared of my family's reputation based on who I was. My whole entire life, I have just felt like such a burden. So my dad's from Iran and my mom's from China. And then I was born in Edina, Minnesota. Right, let that sink in, that there is just, I think any first generation American is going to have an identity crisis. And I feel like my identity crisis was just magnified because not only is it oh, well, I'm not American enough to hang out with my American friends, but also I'm not Persian enough because I'm only half Persian. Well, when I'm with my mom's side of the family, I'm not Chinese enough because I'm not fully Chinese. So my identity crisis was just on steroids. And let's just catch you up. Let's catch you up. We don't need to run it back from 1999. But the last time you saw me was 2020 and was COVID. Let's see. 2020, last time you saw me, I was a sophomore in college in a terrible, unhealthy relationship. Call it what it is. When you date a narcissist, you date a narcissist. When you mother and groom someone into the man that they're supposed to be, that is philanthropy. So that's where I was last at. Survived COVID, survived graduating. I graduated business school. Let me insert a cute picture of me walking across stage completely blackout drunk. Right. And after I graduated 2022 from business school, I went on to do my own startup, but at the same time doing my own startup, I was also in the corporate world. I was doing a little bit of corporate consulting. And then so that was 2022, graduated, did my own startup, was climbing the corporate ladder, Hello. I mean, I was only there for 2 years, so but I did climb a step up. I got a huge raise, and then I got paid for 8 months to just work on my own startup, and it was fabulous. I thought I was living the dream up until I turned, let's see, my age goes with the year. So when I turned 24, I was something just is a little bit off. I don't feel like I'm living my true life. I am constantly feeling this pressure and this panic, and I didn't know if it was from like my own startup journey. And if you didn't follow me in my startup journey, I had this startup for a year, 2 years called Freight. So cute, so blessed. And it was all about upcycling clothes, that bag of clothes that you had in the back of your closet that you've been meaning to donate. It was a service where you'd pay, and Freight, my business, would come and pick up your clothes, and then we would try to like redistribute it amongst the community by prioritizing getting your clothes into the hands of like designers that could upcycle your clothes and turn your old clothes into new clothes. And I kept setting goals for that startup, and I kept accomplishing the goals. And I kept setting goals for myself. Like, I want the car, I want the job, I want the friends, I want the 6 figures a year. Like, that's when I know I've made it. That's when I will know that I am like worthy. And the more I kept accomplishing my goals, the more and more empty and hollow I felt on the inside. And I said, ooh, something is not adding up here. So when I turned 24, after about 2 years of accomplishing all the goals and having this like inner sense of just like dread and doom, I was like, you know what? I'm going to start setting an intention. And my intention for the year of 2024 is to explore my authenticity. I had no idea at that point what it meant to be my truth self, to be authentic in any capacity, because I was putting on such a mask in corporate America. I think my whole entire life, I have put on masks to fit in with the right group. So when I'm going to school, I'm putting on my American mask. When I'm with my mom's side of the family in the Chinese community, I'm putting on like a Chinese mask. When I was with my dad's, I was gonna say dad's side of the family, but that's a whole video within itself. When I was with the Persian community, I was putting on my Farsi Persian mask. And so my whole entire life, I got really good at wearing masks. I got really good at making everyone around me super comfortable and people pleaser to the max. I was so good at it. And you know what else, what I was addicted to? I had this addiction of abandoning myself. I had this obsession with just being what everyone else wanted me to be. And then it was like, okay, then I'll be lovable. Then I'll be worthy. Then I'll be happy. I feel like most of my life I've never been happy, and now that I'm 26 and have a little bit more prefrontal cortex access and exercise, that part of my brain, which is the fun of your brain right here, I go, oh, I've never been happy in my life because I've never actually explored what it's like to live my life as me. Right, let that sink in. I've never been happy in my life because I have always catered to everyone else's happiness and self-abandoned my own. So in 2024, when I was like, wow, why am I accomplishing all these goals, but I'm still not feeling happy? I'm not feeling worthy. I'm supposed to be worthy because I'm making so much money and I have my own house and my own car, my own job, and I get paid to do a startup that's like helping, you know, the world. It's accomplishing one of the UN goals. Like, I was like, I'm the shit. I'm really supposed to be feeling like it, but why do I just not feel like it? So I said, let me just explore my authenticity this year. Yeah, that went horribly. When I set out at the beginning of 2024 to explore my authenticity, to explore my true self, honey, my whole entire world crumbled, crushed, flattened, burned up in flames. And as it was going up in flames, my mental health was deteriorating. I mean, I've never had the greatest mental health. I mean, hello, how do you have really good mental health if you're always pretending to be someone else your whole entire life and you never get a chance to even know who you really are? And then on top of that, if you have parents that don't have emotional regulation. So I had already hit the loony bin, grippy socks scenario in 2017, my last year of high school, and coming out of it was just like sedated on SSRIs. And I was like, ew, no, I'm like not even like a real person on this. I was like, let me just swap that and self-medicate. Hello, start dating someone that does the middleman work for gardening, and you'll get yourself a free supply while that lasts. And so in 2024, when I'm like, I'm going to explore my authenticity, and my mental health is bad. I thought that 2024 was the worst my mental health was ever going to get. I'm talking about just like real bad like anxiety. I remember I was at this event for my startup. It was such a big event. It was the biggest event. I was speaking in front of 300 people. I was such a proud moment. But on the inside, I was battling demons. And when I look back at photos now, I'm like, you can just see into my eyes and you just see like complete dread. And so later that summer, or even just at the beginning of summer, I had a bunch of trips planned with my friends at the time. Couldn't go on any of the trips. I started to not be able to leave my house in April. So time frame for you, 2024, January. She's like, I don't think I'm living my true life, but I also don't feel comfortable saying anything. I think I had a lot of shame and guilt. Like, I am so privileged. I am making so much money. Everyone looks to me and is like, oh my God, she's the it girl. Everything on paper this girl has is everything that a lot of 20-something-year-olds would want at that time, like post-graduation into the 2 years into the workforce. And so March, April, as I do this big event for my startup, and April, my mental health starts drastically deteriorating. And that April would have been like 3 years after I was violated in college. And by violated, I mean the victim of a crime. Yes, I went to college with criminals. And there was this group of people that literally slipped things in my drink and kidnapped me and did horrible, mutilating things to my body. And I think post-college and first when that happened in 2021, I said, goodbye, world. I didn't want to be here in the first place. This is my exit cue. Mwah, see you in the next one. But then somehow life and spirit came over me and I kept living and I kept doing so much. And I think that's where my drive and my ambition really came from, was this thing of like, oh, well, if I can have some part of savior in like sustainable fashion, then I can just heal the world and not heal my own traumas. But then 3 years later, here I am accomplishing everything. I'm doing my part in saving the world. Or so I thought, saving the world. Honey, the world doesn't need saving. That's a hot take for another video. I start to develop symptoms of severe PTSD. And at first it looked like, I'm really anxious, I can't go on these trips that I planned with my friends. And then it turned into, I can't show up to my corporate job anymore, quit my corporate job at the end of summer. Then I went to an event. Oh my God, I got flown out internationally. Y'all, this startup was really picking up traction. People were giving me money. Please, if you have a business idea and you want to go with it, there are so many people that want to give you money for it because it's a tax write-off for them. So go get them money, okay? I got like 30 bands. It was so easy too. I could just fill out one application and save all the answers and submit it for all the other things. But I got flown out internationally to Montreal, and then a person experiencing houselessness outside of the convention attacked me in broad daylight. And that was like, shut down, girl. The mental health was already bad. I was already having a hard time showing up in my day-to-day life. I'm talking about eating. I'm talking about exercising. I used to be that girl, like post-college in my corporate startup days, like I'd be that girl who's going to solid core like 4 times a week. I was strength training a majority of the week. I was hitting that 12-3-30 on the treadmill. Yes, like every single night. I was so fit. I had like my dream body. So that's what I'm telling you. I had everything on paper that I wanted, minus a good partner, romantic partner. Have yet to ever experience that, but I'm not dead yet. I had everything, and I felt like nothing on the inside. I felt worse than nothing. I felt dread. So then after getting attacked towards the end of 2024, and then also going through some stuff with my father that has mental illness, I shut down, girl, shut down. Shut down bad. Like, I would get up and I would go get water. And then all of a sudden, I would stop in my tracks, hand shaking over glass, and then all of a sudden my vision would go black. And at the time, I did not know what was happening. I did not know what that was in any capacity. And apparently it's called dissociation. And I relate it to, well, probably the whole entire life of self-abandoning and having no trust in myself, but then also having such a violent violation, assault years prior that I never looked at because I didn't have the capacity to do so. That then coming back up, toppled on top of then again, another violation, another attack, another assault in Montreal, and then my dad violating some of my boundaries. And then at the same time, I had certain friendships that I was looking at when I explore my authenticity, and I realize, I look at these friends, I'm like, now what am I doing constantly telling you how to treat me? And I just got this really good advice from my therapist at the time that was like, what would you tell your daughter? Like, if a young child came up to you and told you what they were experiencing and stuff that you're going through, like, what boundaries would you have for them? And I said, period, let me use this. Let me use this and apply it to my life. And that looked like distancing myself and cutting off a lot of people from my life. So I think that wreaked havoc on my nervous system. And I was crashing down. There was no crashing out. It was shut down, honey. And I didn't know what dissociation was at the time. I didn't know what was going on. Did I even think I was dying? I was so scared and I was so confused and I felt so helpless and so powerless. The fact that like I would just be doing stuff and all of a sudden my vision would go black. I stopped leaving the house because I was like, I'm scared that I'm going to be driving and then all of a sudden like I'm gonna see black. And at the time it's dissociation. So then I stopped leaving the house. I then stopped talking to my friends and my family, the friends that were left at that point. And my brain started to tell me, it came up with a storyline to protect me because surprise, honey, all the thoughts that your brain thinks, even the ones where it goes, sui, 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 delete yourself, it's all protective mechanisms. It goes, oh my gosh, I don't want this girl to suffer. We care about her so much. We want to protect her. Sui, 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 delete, delete, delete. But at the time, so this would be at the end of 2024, beginning of 2025, my brain started to tell me this protective narrative, which was everyone is out to get me, including my friends and family. Like I literally thought, I'm honoring my truth, that I felt like my family was literally out to get me. And same with like the friends that I had left. Like I thought everyone was plotting against me. I thought people wanted to hurt me because of the hurt and violation that I had felt from the past that I never addressed. I started projecting that onto everyone because my brain went, oh my gosh, this one time she was hurt and she was violated, so we need to keep her safe. And when you start to like self-isolate yourself and you're not talking to people, you're not eating, you're not drinking water, you're unable to sleep because you're having such terrible nightmares, you're waking up in a panic and crying and shitting and pissing the bed and throwing up off the side, like the lack of sleep, the lack of nutrients, the lack of hydration, the lack of connection, the lack of everything that a human needs to function in some capacity, gone. And so my brain was like, everyone's out to get her. Your family wants to set you up. They want you to come over so they can take you and hurt you. And when you have like months and months and months of those thoughts, the natural then protective narrative to come up in my case was, bye-bye. I don't want to do this anymore. So, see you. And it also didn't help that at the end of 2024, the election results were, quite frankly, a criminal being elected. And it's like, okay. So, super helpless, super powerless. And then last year, 2025, thank God for TikTok. I'm telling you, TikTok helped me like develop my spiritual side, and it helped me through my first breakup, which was just a wreck, and that college boyfriend that was a total narcissist. And then TikTok helped me again in 2025. I met a somatic practitioner that works out in LA. Mwah. Hey girl. Dane Wellness, honestly, I'll put you on. If you're a woman that is looking to heal and you have tried everything, she made one video that was like, I've tried the journaling, I've tried the therapy, because at this point I was consistently going to therapy too, and sometimes I would go to therapy once a week, and my therapist at the time was literally like, you are punishing yourself and putting yourself in solitary confinement. And solitary confinement is for like the worst criminals in prison. That's what they do. If you mess up in jail, they throw you in solitary confinement, because that is the worst punishment for a human being, is to just leave them to themselves. And that was what I was doing to myself. I gave myself the worst punishment. And then I found Miss Diane, and I started working with somatic practitioners. And you're like, what's a somatic practitioner? Because girl, same. I don't know what a somatic practitioner was. A somatic practitioner is someone that can help you put your emotions to physical sensations and increase your capacity within your nervous system. So your nervous system is kind of like this mothership. I like to think of it as a little like keyboard to your mind, feeling, and body. And a somatic practitioner can help you get more in your body, so that when your mind tells you these protective narratives of like, oh my gosh, I'm scared, my mom is out to get me, you'd be like, oh, where do I feel that in my body? Okay, I feel tight in my chest. Okay, I can recognize that I feel tight in my chest, and then using my toolkit, okay, I can feel my butt on the seat. I can feel my toes in my socks. I can wiggle my butt. I can wiggle my booty cheeks. I can like look around the room. I can notice that I'm in the present moment. It just really helped me bring my emotions to a state that felt honorable. I always felt like my emotions were a burden and a challenge and so overwhelming that's where the thoughts of like sui, delete came up. And 2025 last year was challenging. Started the year with the protective storyline of sui, delete. Okay, now I've really got to tell like a friend or two. And throughout that last year, just working day in and day out to build back my self-trust. And in the beginning, it looked like, okay, for the next 7 days, I'm going to drink 1 cup of water. That's what I would do. For 7 days, I drank a cup of water. Okay, the next 7 days, I'm going to drink 2 cups of water. And then the next week, I'm going to drink 3 cups of water. And then once my hydration was at a point where I was drinking like a gallon a day, then it was like, okay, now I'm going to start eating, not just chicken nuggets and popsicles. Because when I was in that like super dissociative state where I couldn't do anything, the days felt so hard and so long that at the end of the day, like 8 or 9 p.m., I'd be like, oh my God, I made it through this day. And I'm so scared to go to sleep because I'm having such terrible nightmares of my past traumas. I'm going to like reward myself with 6 chicken nuggets and 2 popsicles. Yeah, you do that for about a year and a half and you will lose your period and gain 40 pounds and get really terrible acne. Mwah. But it's all protective mechanisms. Like, I don't look back. Now I'm at a place where I have expanded my nervous system so much. It went from drinking water to eating food. I just started moving my body. I started leaving the house again. I started traveling again. Oh my God. My first travels was not great. I tried to do a retreat last summer in LA with the somatic practitioner that I found on TikTok, and I lasted less than 23 hours. I was paranoid boots, babe. Like, I was there. It was a cute little Airbnb, but I just couldn't shake the feeling or the thoughts that everyone out there was to get me. And it was this weird, not cognitive thing, because one part of my brain was like, girl, no one even knows you here. But a bigger part of my, like 70% of my brain was like, no, but they're still gonna be out to get you, like even if nobody knows you. Because in college, the people that got me didn't know me. And then same thing, the thing in Montreal, when I got that person that was experiencing houselessness that attacked me, like they didn't know me. And so my brain just was telling me this protective story of, even though people don't know you, they're out to get you and the world is unsafe and you're not safe. And so I really had to create safety in my body last year. Super small, super slow. The body doesn't like fast, quick things, honey. The body doesn't register fast, quick things. The body goes, whatever happened yesterday and you survived, we're latching onto that data point whatever you did yesterday, if it was good, if it was bad, it was as healthy as unhealthy, whatever you did yesterday, you survived. Therefore, boom, implement it again today. That's how the body works. So if you're trying to introduce any type of change into your body, so slow, so small, so incremental if you want the shit to last. And that's what I had to do. 2025 was about rehabilitating myself and creating trust in who I am and looking at what I have faced in my past and contextualizing it in the past, because that's another thing your brain likes to do. It likes to go, you were attacked and it was really big, but that part of your brain, the back of your brain, doesn't register time and space. So it just goes, you were attacked, be really scared. It doesn't matter that you're at home and that you're safe and that you have security and all the doors are locked. Oh, the human brain is fascinating. It's a little feisty too, for sure. But I have created a lot of safety. I have rewired. I don't even know if it's rewired my brain. Definitely rewired my brain. You'll constantly see me in videos to come, or if you follow my TikTok, anytime I talk, I am like on the spot catching myself and talking to myself in a different manner. But also expanding my nervous system to hold feelings of sadness, of anger, of shame, disappointment, and teaching myself that, and more importantly, showing my body that I am safe to feel whatever it is that I feel. So now in my journey, I'm at the part where I am leaving the house. Yippee! I've been on 3 trips since the time that I went on that retreat and it didn't go well. I have another trip coming up in 2 months that I'm so excited for. Just a cute little weekend getaway. And I'm up and moving my body. I am leaving the house. I rarely feel scared. I went to a rave with my cousin for New Year's Eve. That was me just taking in the sunset and also taking in how far I've come. And I still have so much more to go. I'm ready to take you along this journey. I hope that my intention for like reviving my channel and sharing part of my story is that it feels like part of my purpose. Really, like my soul chose to come here and live this life and be me to the fullest me so that I could share my story, because I just went from such a hopeless, powerless, fake, unhappy place in my life to now a more grounded, secure, confident, safe, more authentic than ever, a lot less shame version of myself. And when I think about my favorite part of myself, like my favorite absolutely thing about myself is the way my mind works, the way that I have built this mindset brick by brick. And so I want to share that. I think that my story can help people. So follow me along the journey. We'll have a couple laughs. We'll have a couple hoo-ha scares. We'll definitely get deep and philosophical. And like the bio of this channel says, it's welcome to my life starring me, because my whole entire life has been putting everyone else at the center of my universe, and I finally slipped into the center of my own universe, and I'm liberating myself. I feel like I have liberated myself and living in this radically free way, but also with an immense amount of radical responsibility for my own life, which I will get into about in other videos. So if any of that interests you, follow along. Let's do it. And if you are a monitoring spirit, be gone! None of that is welcome here. I'm divinely guided and blessed, and everyone in this journey is also divinely protected and guided. Mwah. The ancestors and spirit is strong in this corner of the internet. So nice to see you. Missed you. I will see you again in the next one. That was fun. How long was that? Damn, 29 minutes. Hello. She's back. Ah! No cuts. Except now. Cut.